The Idaho murders' surviving roommates, Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funke, are back in public discussion as Netflix releases a new 3-part documentary about the killing of their 4 friends. But neither woman participated in the series, and the most important fact about where they are now is also the simplest. Both have largely chosen lives outside the public eye. Their last major public statements came at Bryan Kohberger's sentencing in July 2025, where they described fear, grief, and the consequences of surviving a night that killed Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Chapin. What is genuinely known about Dylan and Bethany today, and what should remain private? For verified entertainment updates without the rumors, subscribe to Startline Entertainment. The renewed attention comes from 2 developments. The Idaho Murders, College Nightmare premiered on Netflix on July 29, 2026, using body camera material, text messages, and interviews with relatives, friends, and investigators. Neither Dylan nor Bethany sat for an interview, although portions of their recorded police interviews were incorporated into the documentary. 2 days before its release, Kohberger filed a post-conviction petition seeking to withdraw the guilty pleas that resulted in 4 consecutive life sentences without parole. No court had granted that request as of the documentary's premiere. Those developments have returned the case to the headlines, but they do not change the roommates' legal status. Moscow police ruled Dylan and Bethany out as suspects early in the investigation. They were survivors and witnesses who provided investigators with information about what they had heard and experienced inside the King Road home during the early hours of November 13, 2022. There is no credible public evidence that either woman participated in the crime. According to the public record, Dylan was living in a bedroom near the kitchen. She told police that she heard activity in the house, opened her door and saw a man dressed in dark clothing with part of his face covered. She said the man looked at her before leaving the residence. She then contacted Bethany, and the 2 communicated with each other and attempted to reach their roommates while trying to understand what had happened. The response of the surviving roommates became one of the most heavily scrutinized parts of the case. The emergency call was not placed until later that morning, and online commentators repeatedly used that delay to invent theories about the women. Bethany later explained in her victim impact statement that she did not understand what had occurred and believed that calling sooner would not have changed the outcome. She also described receiving death threats, being pursued by media and strangers, and watching people transform the worst experience of her life into online entertainment. That context matters because trauma does not always produce the clear, immediate, or orderly response people expect while looking back from a safe distance. Public records show confusion, fear, and failed attempts to contact the other residents. They do not support accusing either surviving roommate of a crime or claiming that a delayed call proves secret knowledge. Police investigated the women, cleared them, and continued building the case that ultimately led to Kohberger's guilty pleas. For nearly 3 years after the murders, Dylan and Bethany said very little publicly. At a December 2022 memorial, a pastor read letters they had written about the 4 friends they lost. Their next major public contribution came during Kohberger's July 23, 2025 sentencing hearing in Boise. Dylan appeared in court and read her own statement. Bethany prepared a statement that was read by her friend Emily Olent. Dylan described a life changed by panic, constant preparation for danger, and difficulty trusting her surroundings. She said that speaking in court was part of reclaiming a voice that Kohberger could not take from her. Her statement was also an act of remembrance. She emphasized that the memories, love, and experiences she shared with Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan still belonged to her. Bethany's statement described guilt over surviving when her friends did not, fear that the person responsible could return, and lasting difficulty sleeping. She also addressed the harassment directed at her and her relatives, saying strangers contacted family members, appeared at their home, and invented stories while she was attempting to grieve. But her statement ended with a commitment to continue living with her friends in mind. Those statements provide the clearest verified account of how the 2 women were doing after the murders. They do not disclose every part of their lives, and they should not be treated as permission to investigate their current residences or personal relationships. So, where is Bethany Funke now? The most recent educational information cited by People comes from a public December 2024 social media post. It indicated that she had attended the University of Nevada, was then a senior, participated in soccer, and was studying public health. Because that information dates from 2024, it should not be presented as proof of where she lives, studies, or works in July 2026. The article provides no verified current address, employer, or post-graduation status. Her decision not to appear personally at sentencing also should not be interpreted as silence or indifference. Bethany supplied a detailed victim impact statement and trusted a friend to read it publicly. That allowed her words to become part of the official proceeding without requiring her to stand directly in front of the man convicted of killing her friends. Where is Dylan Mortensen now? Public reporting provides even less current personal information. Dylan appeared at the 2025 sentencing and spoke directly, but she has not publicly announced a current residence, employer, school, or regular media role. The accurate answer is that she appears to be maintaining her privacy. Any account claiming to know her exact location or day-to-day activities should be treated cautiously unless Dylan or an authorized representative confirms it. The women's absence from the Netflix interviews reinforces that boundary. The documentary contains police materials connected to them, but that is different from choosing to become documentary participants. Netflix describes the series as a victim-focused account built from body camera footage, messages, and interviews with loved ones and officials. It does not list Dylan or Bethany as participating interview subjects. The current legal situation also requires precision. Kohberger entered guilty pleas on July 2, 2025, under an agreement that removed the possibility of a death sentence. On July 23, Judge Stephen Hippler imposed 4 consecutive fixed life sentences without parole and an additional fixed 10-year sentence for burglary. Those convictions remain in effect. On July 27, 2026, Kohberger submitted a handwritten post-conviction petition alleging that his lawyers pressured him and withheld information before the plea. He now claims innocence and wants the pleas withdrawn. Those are Kohberger's assertions, not court findings. They also conflict with his statements during the 2025 plea proceeding that he understood the agreement and was entering his pleas voluntarily. Withdrawing a plea after sentencing requires further judicial review, and the petition does not automatically produce a new trial or erase the existing judgment. For Dylan and Bethany, that latest filing means a case they believed had reached a legal conclusion may again generate hearings, headlines, and speculation. Whether they will be required to participate in any future proceeding is unknown. The court could reject the petition, request additional filings, hold a hearing, or take other action permitted under Idaho law. Until the judge acts, claims that a new trial has been granted are false. The public should also remember why the case exists. 4 students were killed: Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. The University of Idaho dedicated the Vandal Healing Garden and Memorial in August 2024. A memorial structure includes the 4 students' names and creates a permanent place for reflection on the Moscow campus. Here is the Startline takeaway. The question, where are the surviving roommates now, has a limited public answer because Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funke have not built public careers around the case. Bethany's last publicly reported educational update came from 2024. Dylan's last major public appearance was the 2025 sentencing. Both submitted statements describing the continuing effects of what they survived, and neither participated directly in the new Netflix documentary. What changed recently is not their status. What changed is the attention surrounding them. Netflix has released another documentary, and Kohberger has started a new attempt to challenge his guilty pleas. Those developments may encourage renewed interest, but they do not justify tracking private addresses, repeating conspiracy theories, or assigning suspicious meaning to how 2 frightened young people reacted during an incomprehensible event. The verified summary is this: Dylan and Bethany survived the November 2022 attack, were ruled out as suspects, cooperated with the investigation, and largely withdrew from public view. Dylan personally addressed the court at sentencing. Bethany's statement was read by a friend. The latest reporting offers no reliable 2026 residential or employment information for either woman. Their privacy is not an unresolved clue in the case. It is a reasonable choice made by 2 people attempting to continue their lives after losing 4 friends.